David McGuffin here. We're in Bellacho, and this is exploring Europe your way because this is creme brulee, the only way we've ever seen creme brulee actually flaming. Can you see it? Can you feel the heat coming off of it? So your adventure starts right here with David McGuffin's Exploring Europe in Bellacho, Italy, on Lake Como. Hey, we're up in the Alps. We're driving down this very, very crooked road from St. Moritz down to Chiave into Italy. And you can see probably going beside me, this looks like Christmas. There's snow everywhere. We were up over 6,000 feet. The temperature this morning was, what was it, like 8 degrees? 4 degrees. It was very, very chilly, but it was just a beautiful, pristine place to go and to stay overnight. St. Moritz is a resort town and was just beautiful. Look out here in front of us. We're driving down this road. It's a little bit of the scenery that we have. Here's my GPS unit too that we've just purchased. It seems to be helping us out a lot too. But this is going down into Italy. There's an old church right there. So anyway, just to give you a little perception of what this adventure is like for Charlotte and I. A little town that we're coming into. Every one of them have a church and a bell tower, and you can see that the snow is piled up. I think it just snowed 2 nights ago, so it's piled up, and they do a very good job of clearing the road. But it's very interesting the way this looks here. Hey, we made it down back to Lake Como, which is where we are now. We're on a ferry. Behind me is the town of Verona, where we stayed a couple of nights ago. And if you look back in this direction here, you can see the Alps. And that's the direction we drove down from St. Moritz this morning. And we're going back around in this direction to the tip of the lake here to the town of Bellacho. And we'll see that in a few minutes. Okay, so we've made it to our hotel in Bellacho, and this is the Hotel Bellacho, and we've got a double bed, pretty nice room here. The most fantastic thing is that we've got a view of the lake right out through here, and it's not a bad deal either. About €90 is what we're paying for this. So so far this is the best hotel we've stayed at in the last 3 nights. So we're gonna go get some pizza or something for lunch.
I think I'm back full screen, so let me welcome you to Travel Talk Tuesday for February the 16th, 2021. Tonight we're talking about northern Italy, the Piedmont region, and the area on Lake Como. And some of the most important towns around there are Bellaggio and also Verona, and across the lake Lecco and Menaggio. So we're going to be in that whole region. It's just about, the lake itself is only about 20 miles south of the border between Italy and Switzerland. And so there's varied cultures there. You saw some photos at the beginning about the cuisine and the type of menus they have. And because this region of Italy is just so close to France and is so close to Austria, Germany, and Switzerland, then there's all kind of cuisines here. Anything from fish fresh out of the lake to seafood pumped up from the Adriatic and Mediterranean Sea. And then plenty of meats, cured sausages, beef, anything you can think of, you get there. Great pizza as well. And so I'm getting ready to prepare a traditional menu from this region that consists of risotto and veal cutlets. So let me show you a little bit about the ingredients and tell you what I'm going to do while we're going through this. So these are veal cutlets, and I actually did find them. They're about 1/4 inch thick. I salted and peppered them, and when it comes time to fry them up, I'm going to put them there in that oil with some flour. I'm also fixing a risotto, Milanese, and the ingredients there are a cup of risotto, some saffron, 1 chopped onion. Also, there's some Parmesan cheese that goes on in it near the end. And I also have a mixture, 4 cups of half and half beef and chicken broth. And this is not espresso as it says in the cup. It's a little bit of white wine. And just a little bit, I'll begin putting all those ingredients together. But basically, it's a really simple meal, very similar to rice, except you put a little bit of liquid in at the time. So the first thing I do, well, I'll heat up some oil in a pot. I'll put in some onions, let them saute a little bit. I'll add in the saffron, stir that in and incorporate that in. And then I'll also take care of making sure that I then put the rice in, and then little by little add in the wine and the stock and cook it for about 20 or 30 minutes, letting the liquid boil down until it's nice and creamy rice, and then I'll put in the risotto.
Join me today from charming Lake Como in the little village of Bellacho, right on the northern border of Italy. Bellacho is a village on a steep hill jutting out into Lake Como. The town literally falls down the hill onto the lake. North of town is a beautiful lakeside promenade leading to Via Manzoni, the main street at the foot of town. On this map of Bellacho, you can see a few red pedestrian-only streets. Via Manzoni at the foot of town by the lake and Via Garibaldi at the top of town are connected by a series of steep staired lanes known as salidi that climb from the lake to the top of town on Via Garibaldi. This is Via Garibaldi at the top of town. It is mostly pedestrian only and is lined with shops selling food, gifts, clothing, handmade crafts, and jewelry.
And screaming kids.
Bellacho is a town loaded with a lot of charm and character and a lot of tourists as well. Via Serbelloni is the largest of the 8 salidi that traverse uphill from the lake. All of the salidis are constructed of pebbled lake rocks designed into wide steps. Each salidi has its own unique character. On these salidi, you'll find off-the-beaten-track pizzerias, cafes, and bars, unique shops selling clothing, crafts, and silk scarves, and plenty of restaurants. Via Garibaldi terminates at the main town square, Piazza della Chiesa. Here you will find the Romanesque Basilica di San Giacomo with impressive frescoes, statues, and a bell tower that tolls the hour throughout the day. Okay, this completes the top of town, so let's walk out to the point. Notice that Bellacho is located on a point of land that juts into the lake, dividing it into 2 legs. Punto Spartivento literally means dividing the wind in English. From the park and restaurant, there are magnificent views looking north into the Swiss Alps. Looking north toward Switzerland, across the main body of Lake Como. So along the waterfront, there is a multitude of cafes and bars that have a beautiful view of the lake. In the afternoon, all of the hotels and bars along the way actually just pull down the shades to protect their visitors from the sun. Late afternoon, along the lake promenade, every bench is taken up by someone enjoying the ambiance locale. I've walked to La Punta, the point here on the very tip of Bellacho. If you think of Lake Como as a running man, Bellacho sits, unfortunately, right in the crotch, but definitely it's not anything crotchy at all about Bellacho. A wonderful, wonderful location here. Remember, your adventure starts right here with David McGuffin's Exploring Europe.
And talk to you a little bit about, I mentioned to you about what we were doing as far as trying to prepare a meal today with the risotto and the veal with breaded fillets of veal. But I also wanted to tell you a little bit about the wine of the region. One of the most important wines there is a wine called Barolo. Let's see, Barolo. Let me get it this way. Yeah, and it's made in the region of Piedmonte, and it's made out of one particular type of grape that grows there called Nebbiolo. And very similar to the type of wine down in Tuscany that we explored a few weeks ago, the most famous wine there is Brunello. This is the very most famous and most prestigious wine of the Piedmont region, and it's Barolo. It's a dark, rich wine, got it leather and cherry flavors and black currant, and it goes very well with the steak and the heavy sausage and meats that are served in the region. Of course, you wouldn't get this with lake fish or anything, but they have some wonderful white wines as well. But we're going to be drinking a little Barolo later on tonight. So that's what I'm getting. It's readily available at upscale grocery stores, wine shops, and Costco occasionally has it, as well as Total Wine. So that's what we're doing there. Let me look at my notes and see if I need to cover anything else. Yeah, a little history about the place. This lake is the deepest lake in all of Europe, and it's formed from a glacier, receding glacier that happened thousands of years ago. And the glacier evaporated, washed out, and left the lake bed, and it filled up with water, and it's been there ever since. Indigenous people lived there, but there's not much history there until the Romans showed up, and they showed up and built colonies, and some of the emperors even had their vacation homes around the lake, and that tradition has continued on even into the Middle Ages, when many of the famous cardinals from the region of Lombardy and Piedmonte and around Milan, they would build their vacation homes there or vacation villas or palaces there. And then finally, around the late 1800s and early 1900s, many people rich people began building their second homes and their lakefront vacation homes there. And so consequently, almost on every town you see on that map, there's a villa there. And we're going to look at one in just a second. And I'll give you a little commentary on that as well. There it is right there, Babbianello. This particular villa was a monastery at one point in the Middle Ages. A famous cardinal from Milan bought it in the late Middle Ages. And then it's transferred from rich person to rich person up until the 1970s, when the last owner passed away and left it to the state of Italy as a kind of a natural park. I researched it today.
I hope you've enjoyed this look around Villa Babbianello. Your adventure starts right here with David McGuffin's Exploring Europe. Arrivederci.
This place, this lake also, I think one of the most famous residents in recent years is George Clooney. And so he has a villa kind of just near where this next clip is going to go about us boating on the lake and swimming. But so every time we go there, everybody wants to know where his house is. And so I did look that up, but you can't see anything. And of course, I've never seen George Clooney there either. Although some years back, I did see George Clooney on one of his marriages. I don't know who he's married to now, but maybe it's his most recent marriage, was in Venice. And he got married at the City Hall in Venice. And we were on the Rialto Bridge and saw them come out of the City Hall, he and his bride. And it was all kind of a ruckus of people clapping and looking. And someone told me this who it was. And so from afar, I got to see George Clooney in Italy. Let's see, there's some comments. Janice King, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. Good to see you on Facebook. Here you go.
Hey everybody, David McGuffin here on Lake Como up in northern Italy. We've rented a boat for the day for about 4 hours, and we've been just putting around the lake, having a great time. We've picked up some sandwiches in one of the villages, and now we're out here in the very middle of the lake, kind of halfway between the town of Como and the Swiss Alps up to the north behind us. What a great way to see this lake and all the little villages. Pretty inexpensive when you think about the time and the effort spent in doing it, and it's just a beautiful day. Hey, your adventure starts right here on Lake Como with David McGuffin's Exploring Europe. Where are we going? Hey, to Lake Como, we're gonna see what it feels like to swim in this thing. They tell me it's really, really cold, but I say your adventure starts here. Woo! Wow, this is refreshing.
That was one of the best days that we've had. We happened to be there with just another couple, a friend of ours, another couple friends of ours. And so we researched and rented a speedboat to take on the lake for 4 hours, I think. It's pretty reasonably priced. It was in the middle of the summer, and I tell you, the water was refreshing, but it was very cold. It's colder than the springs here in Florida, I think. But we certainly enjoyed doing that. And it was nice to have our own transportation and just be able to go from one village to the next and to be on the lake and to see the views from the lake. There are many boats that traverse back and forth across the lake, and from anywhere from hydrofoil, big speedboats that carry 100 people or more, to ferries that carry automobiles and people. But right there in that middle lake region between Bellacho, Verona, and Menaggio, the ferry runs back and forth to those three cities, and you can rent or you can purchase a pass that's 10 or 12 euro or something for the day, and you can ride that thing all you want to and go from one little village to the other. So it makes it really nice. It's kind of like being in the Cinque Terre, the region down on the Adriatic, or the region down on the Mediterranean Sea, the Ligurian Sea, where you can also buy a pass for a train and go to the 5 villages on the train. Same sort of principle here on Lake Como. So we really enjoy doing that. What's coming up next? I'm going to go ahead and get the ingredients starting for my rice risotto, because that's what takes the longest. But we have a closing video of 8 to 10 minutes that we filmed some years back, and kind of gives a total overview of this lake region. So I hope you enjoy that as we kind of close that out, and then I'll come back and we'll wrap up everything after that. Of Bellacho on Lake Como, and there's not a thing to do or see here other than the beauty of the lake, the mountains, and the towns. Bellacho is bella. Bellacho is beautiful. Throughout the centuries, land villas were built in each of these villages. As a matter of fact, here in Bellacho, there's 3 of them within walking distance here. One of the most charming is just here behind us, that you can go in the gates, wander through the gardens, go into the villa itself, and look at some of the villas. Always think about how
long would it take you to hike to the top of that mountain? Get up there and say, I'm the king of the mountain.
This is the Villa Melzi right there in Bellacho, along the lakefront promenade.
If you wanted to, you could hop on a boat and on a ferry and travel from one town to the other to the other. But just experiencing Bellacho is fantastic as well. There's tons of little shops here. If you want to in the afternoon, come down for a coffee in the morning, go back up, whatever you want to do. Virginia. Sì, 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 sì. Formaggi e vino rosso. Sì, grazie. This entire cellar has wines, great wines from all over Italy. Why would you get something from some other place in Italy when you could get something from right here in the region? So that's what we're going to get tonight. So the gentleman here lives here, and so he recommends the bottle, and that is perfect. So this wine here is kind of unique, because what they do is they pick the grapes in October, and they hang it in little caves, cellars like this, until mid-January or the 1st of February. This is the Nebbiolo grape from the region.
Yes.
Nebbiolo from the region.
Yes.
It has smells of cherry and pepper. In the wine cave in this little village of Bellacho, called Lake Como, with the Nebbiolo grape from the region. So your adventure starts here. Just enjoy relaxing. For me, it's a perfect way to end your food tour to Europe. It's right here on Lake Como and the charming village of Bellacho.
Okay, I think that gives you a pretty good overview of what's going on Lake Como, one of our favorite places. The very first scene you saw was the first time Charlotte and I had been on that side of the lake. I had been on the western side of the lake several times in the 90s and the early 2000s, but that was when, with the snow and everything, was in 2008, November of 2008, and we had I was teaching school at the time, we had a few days off for Thanksgiving. And so we decided to fly over to Italy for a few days and then return back to Atlanta to Charlotte's brother's home and have Thanksgiving dinner. So it all worked out. So that's when the first time we went there. And it was just a great experience, and we've been going back ever since. So we really, really do like that. This particular region is on my Best of Italy tour, and it's the last 3 days of that are the last the 2 days preceding the last day of the tour is when we're going to be in Bellaggio, and we stay there. And then the other days are the last day of the tour is in Milan, and in Milan is the big city in northern Italy. And as you know, a fashion capital of the world, is famous for the opera house La Scala. And so next week we're going to talk a little bit about Milan, and so that'll kind of finish out that part of Italy. Then we're going to go the following week, go back and catch up one area that I just totally neglected earlier on, and that is the Cinque Terre region in Liguria. So we'll visit that, and then that brings us into the first couple of weeks of March, where we're going to jump over to Ireland, and we're going to talk about my tours in Ireland and the tour experience of visiting from Dublin to the south. And then I believe the 16th is a Tuesday as well of March, and so the day preceding St. Paddy's Day, and so we'll do a experience of celebrating St. Paddy's Day in Dublin. I appreciate you doing that. I enjoy being connected and staying in touch with people in Europe and with people like you, like-minded travelers like us. Thank you so much. You guys take care, and we'll see you next week. Okay. Bye.